Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Solopreneur series. Today my guest is Camille Miller, founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership and the SoulProfessional.com online community. Camille is a seasoned business and mindset strategist for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. She guides them to create a massively profitable business that also aligns with their authentic selves. Welcome, Camille. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Awesome. And congratulations on the publication of, I believe this is your second book. Is that
That's my
correct?
first book.
Oh,
My
no, I
second,
got the
well,
wrong.
my second book is the blue one right over there.
Okay. Well, I like this one so far. This one is called The Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul-Aligned Business. So my first question to you is, what is your definition of a soul-aligned business?
So people have asked this over and over and over, and it's changed, but I used to say very logical people that are spiritually grounded, right? But now I say it's really people that are looking for their purpose. They believe in abundance. They work in a higher vibration and they're very collaborative. So it's not about competition. And they really want to make a difference more than they want to make the dollars. That's not to say the dollars aren't important, but it's like this purpose is beyond your profit, which is my tagline.
Uh,
Right. So it's more about serving others, and coming from this beautiful place of giving that I believe is more soul aligned than certainly we were decades ago. I think there's a paradigm shift happening and more entrepreneurs are going into that space. And actually, I believe some corporations are as well. Sorry. But soul aligned is really just coming from a place of abundance and serving and collaboration, and not necessarily spiritual. Although I find that spiritual beings are all a part of that, right? When you're really doing your soul's purpose and you're living in your passion, you usually have a spiritual component to you.
right. So is there a little, three-question quiz we can take to find out if if the business we are in is our soul-aligned business?
Um, yes. If you can answer the question, if you won the lottery today, would you still wake up and do exactly what you're doing?
That's so funny that you said that because I was just thinking about years ago, a motivational speaker came to the company I was working for. It was a government agency. And that was one of the things he said. He said, you think you're in the right job? If you won the lottery, would you still keep your job? And we all said, no, of course.
Right. Then you're not working in your passion.
We were not.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
an okay job, but it wasn't working in our
Yeah.
passion.
I mean, my father taught me that. I mean, when I was a kid, he was a doctor and he was like, I would still do this. I would just do it all for free.
Yeah.
And he did have free clinics and stuff, but it was just his passion and his love. And that's how I feel about what I do. Like, I absolutely love doing it. And I do donate a lot of my time to like the Small Business Development Center and stuff like that. But
Right.
that is the perfect quiz, is if you would
Okay.
continue to do what you're doing, that means it makes your heart sing. It's
Exactly.
you're working in your purpose.
So from reading your book, I understand that your journey wasn't exactly the smoothest, shall we say, to your soul aligned business. Can you tell us a little bit about how yours came about?
Yeah. And I'd love to preface it with saying I don't think anybody's as smooth,
Hmm.
right? But I would like to encourage everyone who's listening that those dramatic ups and downs and those career moves that don't make sense all make sense when you get to where you're supposed to be. And it's like, oh, that's why I have this experience. So I go through life with zero regrets from the choices I've ever made and things I've done, because it all created who I am today. Right. So
Exactly.
my background was all in not-for-profit management. I did a lot of it, but it was my very last job that made me create this, where I was working in organic farming on the organic label. And I got to bring my whole self to work. So I was the CEO and executive director of a nonprofit. I got to work in Washington. But I got to meet the people that I hang with today, that I would say like lived in this higher vibration. They ate organic food, but they had all different professions. It didn't really matter what they did. It was who they were as people. And when I started to meet those people, as this job defunded, I wanted to stay in a place where I just loved going to work every single day. And I really felt like I wanted to serve others and be, this higher being from a place of service and abundance. And part of that job was teaching people teaching farmers and agricultural businesses, how do you price? How do you create your business? How do you, do things? So a piece of that was taken into this when I was looking for my people. And like,
Hmm.
I didn't want to go back to a university or a hospital or something that it paid the bills. I got some good work, but it no longer made my heart sing. Money was no longer my motivator. And then I created NLBP, which has become this, international global professional organization for people to collaborate and meet each other and work in this soul-aligned way. So I always say, if you live in a higher vibration, have an alternative approach to business, and are here to help repair the world, that's a soul professional. And those are the people that I want to help.
Awesome. So how did you come upon the idea of the group? I mean, was it sort of a download or just gradually it
It was
started to sink in?
it was definitely a download. Um, when I was really searching for what my next chapter was after that was defunded. My last job was defunded. And I absolutely got a download, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I knew it was to help people bring their gifts to the world. Because at the time I didn't realize I had a gift, but I knew I was really good at creating community. I knew I was really good at business strategy. And I loved doing it. So it started out as a little coffee club. I mean, I'm from New Jersey in the States, and we used to just meet for coffee. And I used to talk about it and how can I help people? And we should create this organization and everyone should know each other. And then we moved from like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and we started to fill up the Northeast. And at the end of 2017, I got a call from someone in California that said, "Oh my gosh, I've been watching you. I can't wait for you to come out here." And I knew in that moment that I did not have a sustainable business model, right? Because I was showing up at every single one. I love to drive, but I was a single mom with 3 kids at home, right? So sometimes I was in 3 states in a night or a whole day. So because I'd have coffee somewhere, I have lunch somewhere, I have an evening, and then I drive all the way home. So I heard of this thing called Zoom. And someone was telling me that they were taking a class. I know who the woman was who told me that she was taking this class on a thing called Zoom, and it was a holistic class. And I was like, well, if holistic people will get on a thing called Zoom, let me find out what it was. So in 2018, my camera just went all blurry. In 2018, we launched in January as one of the first no chapter professional organizations and went to a complete Zoom model. Trying to get my camera back.
There you go.
It was really hard in that moment to get people to come on camera. It was so hard, especially spiritual people that are introverts, because I'm an introvert. I attract introverts. It was very, very difficult. But I kept believing that this was the future. This is something I had to do because this was going to become a thing. So I would literally have people like, just jump on the camera, tell me how much snow you have this winter, and we started to do it. And in 2019, we went international. I should say we went bi-coastal that night, because the person from California joined. And then we went international in 2019 because I became certified in Psyche, which is an unblocking of your subconscious beliefs. And Bruce Lipton does all the science behind that. And that got me international clients, which then joined the community. So we went international in 2019. And then in 2020, there was this global pandemic that some of you might remember. And we were already positioned. We didn't have to change a thing. We were already positioned. The difference is that I was a one-woman show. I didn't have the staff I have today. And it kind of over to like, I was bombarded with, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do this because I was doing everything so manually. But with like any business model, when things start to break, that's how you know you're doing a good job, right? So as things start to break, I just was like, hey, everyone, things are breaking. Please have grace. And everyone stood by me. We had a 97% retention rate while I was growing.
Wow.
Yeah. And, today it's 9 years later. And, today we have a pretty thriving community. We have representation, I think, in 12 countries last time I counted. When we have our free level of membership, and then we have 2 premium levels of membership, and it's kind of gone big and small and big and small. And I do struggle with, do I want it to be big? Do I want it to be small? And now I spent 2 years trying to grow it as a big organization. And now it's actually trimming down to like this boutique organization, which I kind of like a little bit better. That's how we started off, and it feels better. And it's more surrounded around me and my teachings and collaboration and me being able to introduce people to who everyone needs to know. And it really helps me because I love strategy and I love helping people build businesses. I'm not really a long-term coach. I'm a let's design it and get you where you need to be so you can take it from here kind of person. So that's what's come out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you talk about being an introvert, and you help people build this kind of business that
Yeah.
aligns with the soul and the science,
Yeah.
as it were, together. So when you're working with, probably work with a lot of spiritual or conscious entrepreneurs who are introverts themselves.
Yes, they
I'm an
are.
introvert, you're an introvert.
Yep.
So would you tell those people to be less of an introvert, or do you build a business around an
Who
introvert?
they are. Yeah, who they are, right? I built a business around who I am. And I think that's the misconception that I'm trying to eradicate, really, that you can build a business for exactly who you are. You do not have to do it like you were told. Like when I went to business school, they taught us to be CEOs, right, of Disney and McDonald's, and we studied these really big companies. But they didn't teach us to love our work. They didn't teach us that you can be an entrepreneur, right? Today, they do have entrepreneurship, right? I've been out of college over 30 years. So probably out of graduate school more than 30 years. So it's a much different world. It's much global, right? The internet, came out when I was in my master's program. So it's a much different world today. But I think there's been a paradigm shift in entrepreneurship and in people in general that want to really do work that makes them feel good. It's not about the greed and the stuff anymore.
Right.
So that's really what I want to put out there, that you can create a business exactly who you are. And if you're an introvert like I am, and obviously that's who I attract, I also attract very logical people. That probably once had very logical jobs, doctors, accountants, CPAs and accountants, lawyers, that could be coaches now, right? They could be spiritual practitioners. It doesn't really matter what they do. It's who they are as people. And I think it's really important that as introverts, we need to have intimate and deeper relationships with people. And that's how we market ourselves. We come from our truth. And as long as we're authentic in who we are, you don't have to post. You don't have to post your stuff. You don't have to talk about your money. You can if you want to. You can if you're comfortable. But talk about what happens to you in a day. And if you don't want to post, don't post. You don't want to do videos, don't do videos. Like you can build a business in what makes you feel comfortable, because when you are comfortable, you will get the money because people love who they are. I mean, I've made a mistake that I've talked about. I don't know if it was my first book or second book, to be honest with you. I've made grave mistakes, building this company that I have today, by hiring the wrong people or giving away my power. I think we all make mistakes, right? Or trying to do things, even growing, and growing a huge membership and then realizing this doesn't feel good to me. Let me go back to the way. I'm literally going back to who I was 9 years ago by doing strategy work and small group projects now, and doing 10 and 12-week classes now, and teaching financial abundance and how to read the numbers in your business or create packages around who you are. There's no right or wrong way. My main question is, what does it feel like to you? If it doesn't feel good, you have to figure out what that emotional response is, because then you don't do it. So you
And where
market and build
that's
relationships around who you are. And that's your whole business should be that way. You visit around your lifestyle, not what everyone else wants to do. How you bring people, how you talk to people, what's easy for you to sell. People are always like, oh, I have to build packages. It's like, you don't have to if that's not what you want to do, right? I sell a great 2-pack, right? Because in 2 90-minute sessions, I can pretty much tell you everything you need to know about your business. I don't have to string you along. You don't have to pay me forever. This is what I'm good at. I should be able to narrow it down in 2 90-minute sessions and give you a full business plan. That's my thing. It's a 2-pack.
that's awesome.
Right. So if, I know this other woman, she's a health coach, that she gets on a 15-minute call and she sells one kind of audit, like a health audit. I don't know what she calls it. And that's her premier product. And she just keeps selling it. And then from there, they'll buy her next package. And so many people are like, oh, I was told to never do a single session. Why? Do you like doing them? Does it work for you? It's like, who told you not to do it? Right? You have to do what works for you.
And there
If you
is
don't
a
like
way
doing it, then
to,
don't do it.
whatever those things are that you like to do, there are ways to get the money coming in
Yeah.
from
And
those.
I think it's a really good barometer. If you wouldn't do it, then your clients aren't going to do it, because you can only attract who you are.
Mm,
Right? So if it doesn't feel good to you, then you shouldn't be doing it. But if you wouldn't watch someone else do it, then your client isn't going to watch you do it. So
exactly.
right? So it's, I don't read long emails. Guess what? I don't really send long emails. You know why? Because I know I attract me. I'm not going to do it. Right? So if I want to get someone's attention, I send them one sentence.
I'm laughing. Yeah, keep to one subject. I'm laughing
Yeah,
because
and I'm
I
very
have,
visual. So I do a lot of graphics.
yeah,
Very visual, right? So, and
I've
that's how
missed a lot
everyone
of,
should be doing their business.
I miss a lot of messaging because I don't get to the end of the email.
I
I
don't
don't,
either.
I don't quite read to the end.
Nobody does.
No, then people
So,
say PS and that's a whole other subject at
yeah,
the bottom of the email.
yeah,
No, stick to the topic.
yeah. So you have to do what feels good, but also how you would react, right? So if you watch TikTok, then do TikToks. If you do Instagram, then do your business on Instagram. If you do Facebook, do that. If you run good communities, do that. But
Exactly.
yeah, you just have to be who you actually are. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, because that comes through. You cannot attract people based on someone else's. That's why I don't sell like 10 steps to 10K months, because there are no 10 steps that everyone can do to get a 10K month. It doesn't exist in the world. Everything has to be very individualized. But that's how you attract people that are you, by being authentic and living your truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You mentioned competition a while
Yeah.
back, and uh, I know, you know, that there's a theory that, well, there's no competition, there's only collaboration among us conscious entrepreneurs because we are our product. We are the
Hmm.
product and
I
we're
agree with that.
unique. There's only one of me and one of you. And so therefore there's no competition. But on the other hand, do we not have to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace?
You do have to differentiate, but that's why there's no competition, right? It's because if someone can see the difference, then they know who they're attracted to. It's just like, think about all of our doctors that come out of the same medical school, right? They all have the same degree. Think of all the attorneys that come out of the same law school. They all have the same degree, the same title. They're all attorneys, they're all doctors, right? But we attract to the ones that make us feel good, right? If you're looking for a divorce attorney, you talk to 3 or 4 and say, which one makes me feel good? Which one do I believe that's speaking my truth? Right? It's exactly the same for coaches or strategists, or that's why, like, when I talk to people, I'm like, I don't do big, converts. I was like, if you're a hell yes, then you're my client. If it's a no, then you're not. And that's it. Like, when it's a
Yeah,
hell yes, you come back,
yeah,
because that's when you're going to do the work. So I kind of I do a hell yes converting. Like, if you're not a hell yes, then you're a no. So
yeah.
you're not my people, right?
Awesome.
Because when I make a decision, I'm a hell yes,
Yeah.
right? I know it. I don't make decisions quickly, by the way. But if I'm still a hell yes 24 hours later, that's fine. And that's why I don't push anyone to do anything, because you'll know. And 97% of my work is through word of mouth. People come
Really?
when they're ready. Yep. I
That's
still have
interesting.
to, I still do all the podcasts. I write the books. I do my own podcast. Like, I have all of this stuff, but I don't convert people as much as it is awareness.
Yeah.
Right. So if people have questions, I jump on a phone call or a Zoom and I answer everything. And
I
when
think
they're ready, they will convert. Right.
that's the introvert in us just wanting to do a one-on-one. Like I'm not great in groups, so I'm happy to jump on a call with somebody if they have questions, just like you say. But as far as posting and all that kind of stuff, and you know,
Yeah. But you can
I
also
hear you.
post. I just joined this new group literally today. Someone told me about his Facebook community, like, oh, you're gonna meet. It's literally for women in New Jersey. And I was like, great, let me join the community. And I will go in there actually later today. I have it up to do, and just be like, hey, I'm new here. This is what I know. Does anyone want to do a one-on-one?
Yep,
And I'll fill my calendar with like 20 people and get to know them. Are they all going to become end clients? No, maybe none of them will, but I don't know who they know. And it's a good way just to have conversation, meet people, see who I can introduce, right? Inside our community, we have what we call next level leads. And part of that is coming together, telling people who we need to meet, and each of us introducing people to other people we know from other organizations. So we're cross connecting people all the time.
that's where the magic is
That's
in the
exactly where the magic
networking.
is.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah. But
awesome.
you also have to be really comfortable and not feel competitive when you're
Hmm.
introducing. I introduce people to other business strategists or business coaches because I don't think we're alike. I was like, maybe I'm your person, maybe someone else is. That's okay. And there's a lot of people that might do things based on not what they need or who's good for them, but they do it on price, right? That's
Exactly.
okay too. I'm probably not your person. I am expensive.
Hmm. But I used to sort of get my back up a little when I'm on a networking group and there's a bunch of web designers there, right? Because I'm thinking, oh, this is no good for me. But I changed.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah. Because what if someone was looking for web design, they're going to go to your website and they're going to
Mhm.
go to all those other websites and they're going to see what converts and what feels good for them. It literally
Exactly.
could be the color. You have no idea
Yeah.
what is drawing
Exactly.
people in, right? I'm a very visual person, so I need things that are very easy and visual, but the next person might not.
Mhm.
right? And
Exactly.
you're going to connect with the right person for you. So,
You talk about uh, creating a massively profitable soul aligned business. So, this is one of these things where you hear two different things. You hear sometimes dream big, write down everything, the biggest thing that you can think of, that what you really want to do.
mhm,
Don't worry about the how. The universe is going to take care of that. But then you also have the other side that says, well, dream of something right now that your subconscious can get its mind around, that you can believe that you can do.
right.
So, which one?
So it's a little bit of both. And this is where people make a big mistake because they're hoping and wishing, not manifesting. And there is a big difference between hoping and wishing. So when I work with people, I always say, tell me your ultimate dream. Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? Like, tell me what that looks like for you. And we go through a lot of exercises. So I really know what their motivation is and the why. But we'll take myself. I always said, I want to travel. I want to travel. I want to travel. I can't wait. When my kids grow up, I'm going to travel. Um, but so I used to say, I want to live in Italy. I don't want to do that anymore. But someone questioned me a year ago and said, then what are you doing to get there? And I was like, you're right. And that's how I know that I'm not going to move there now, because I started taking steps. I started taking Italian lessons. I started interviewing people that live in Italy to see what it was like. Is that a good choice? So I started to do those steps to get to the place and went, yeah, I'm not living in Italy. That's not a good choice for me. Right. So just like traveling, when I wanted to talk about traveling all the time, well, I didn't really have the money to travel. But you know what I could do? I could get in my car once a month and go somewhere, right? I can go overnight somewhere. I could take day trips. I can start to travel and discover new things, because what I like about traveling is learning a lot about culture. I love culture. I love history, right? But I could do that here. So I started with small trips that went to weekend trips, that went to um, national trips, like doing small road trips, right? That I could afford to do, to plane trips, right? And now I do international trips every other month,
Oh,
right? So I'm getting to the place, but it started, you have to do baby steps to get you there. So it's not just wishing and hoping. It's just like if you want to run a marathon, you don't put on a pair of sneakers and go run 2 miles. Like, first, maybe just walk and get the mail every day, walk
right.
around the block. Like, you have to break it down into really, 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 really small, very achievable goals, but you have to incorporate it, right? A big thing I like to talk about is like a receiving journal,
Mhm.
right? Talk about all the opportunities and things that are coming your way. So you're always recognizing greatness in yourself. That's how you manifest. In one of our classes, we do what's called a victory log, which actually came from an interview with Jack Canfield. But it's about recognizing how great you are, even if you're going back to your childhood, when you talk about great things, or times when you were great, right? I was a big athlete in high school and college. I was an all-state player. I was an all-national player. And that's greatness, and I can still hold on to, right? So when I'm having a bad day, I have to remember about that greatness, because you manifest based on emotion, how you're feeling, right? And so many of us are coming from this place and emotion of scarcity, or I can't have, or I'm not worthy. And when you're coming from that and wishing about traveling to Italy, it's coming from a place of scarcity. You can't manifest. What you're going to manifest is that never happening, because you're saying, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it. Right? Instead of saying, hey, I got this brochure, or put a picture of Italy. I'm pointing over here because I have all of my wait, can you see it? Wait, where is it? There it is. See all my
Oh,
traveling there.
wow.
And because I need to see it every day. And then I started putting the cities I want to go to, right? And so I can manifest how great I will feel when I'm there, right? And it's the same thing with money and flow and getting clients. It's just being so grateful for when you have a conversation or when something's happening. Um, and we do a lot of this work in my financial boot camp. It's called my 6-figure soul boot camp. It's really about financial abundance, but figuring this all out in your business. So you're manifesting these bigger dreams are coming towards you, but a lot has to do with your emotion and forgiveness. Many people have debt and they've made some bad decisions and choices, but to just be okay with that. Like, I'm okay with the choices I've made because they made me who I am today. So
Exactly.
you can't sit there. So answering your question, it's all important and that is how you do it, but the trick is the emotion you're doing it from. If you're doing it from a place of lack and wishing and hoping, that's not manifesting. That's
Right.
saying, I wish I could have this because I don't have it now. And you're tapped into, I don't have it now. I don't have it now. Instead of saying, I'm working my way towards this.
Exactly. It's what
Yeah.
even a tiny baby step towards it. You get you pick up the brochure, you celebrate the fact you've got the brochure,
Yeah.
and it
Right.
carries on. It
Right. And
it will
anything
evolve.
that you're wishing or hoping for, you have to start doing, right? If you want to buy
Mhm.
a Porsche one day, go test drive one. See what they cost. How are you going to save for it? Like, whatever it is for you, and
Exactly.
it doesn't necessarily have to be a material thing.
Mhm.
It could just be self-care. People are like, oh, I just wish I could get my nails done, or I wish I could get massages done.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? Why don't you just take a walk once a day, right? Start with some self-care, start with some time. I caught myself, this was a while back. I used to always say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. And then I caught myself and went, if I keep saying that, I'm never going to find the time. So now I say, I have all the time I need to get everything done. And I catch myself if I ever say, oh, I don't have time to get that done. I'm like, yes, I do. I have all the time I need to get everything done. And I find that I get way more done.
I love that as an affirmation.
Yeah.
Just get it into your head. Yes, you do. You have the time. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to do it from a place that you feel it in your body. I have all
Mhm.
the time I need because universe only works in my favor. So whatever happens is the right thing that's supposed to happen. So when you don't get a client or your workshop isn't filled, that's okay because that's either what you asked for or how universe thought this was a really good lesson. So when things
Right.
don't work, you only have you to look in the mirror. It's not because you didn't market or send out new emails. Usually it's just you didn't make enough phone calls, but
Yeah.
no.
I think you kind of answered this question, but I think even the most successful entrepreneurs, every once in a while, that negative voice comes, the self doubts come creeping in. What's the best way to
Absolutely.
eradicate that little pesky
Yeah,
voice?
so it's very much the same, but recognizing it is really hard. That's why I feel like masterminds and accountability partners and all of that is really important.
Mhm.
Because I'm caught myself, like we have an inner circle at NLBP for CEOs, and I'm caught there too because my peers are going like, "Hey, wait a minute, you just said something negative," right? So, and it happens at every level. So I think that's really, really important. I find that there's that stuck point right before 100,000 and there's a stuck point between 250 and 300,000. People can't break out of that. And then about 700,000, they can't get to a million because it's that fear. It's exactly the same as when you started. Everything just repeats itself, but you subconsciously have a ceiling. I would say, I
Right.
don't know if it's sticky floors or glass ceilings, but you have this belief about what you're worth.
Just the
And
numbers
that's
get
where
different.
the numbers get different, right? And as you grow, you have bigger bills,
True.
right? But what's happening inside is exactly the same.
Mhm.
So I always say with my finance class, someone could be in here that's at a 500,000 and other people can be in here that's at 20,000, but you're still experiencing the same problem. It doesn't matter where you actually are. because you're actually the same emotionally.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you leave us with an actionable step or two that people can do now today and anybody who's struggling out there trying to get to, trying to reach this soul aligned business that's profitable.
Yeah. I would say whatever that ultimate dream is for you, to take a baby step towards it. To believe in yourself and not follow, I'll give more than one, to believe in yourself and not follow, the way it's supposed to be, because that's all made up. It's all made up. No one knows how it's supposed to be, right? And, just to really live in your truth and believe in yourself and, work on all of that self-worth, because that's where I find most entrepreneurs are stuck, really in the self-worth.
The self-worth, the
Yeah.
self-confidence area,
Yep.
right?
That's what it is. It's really around self-love. The more you love yourself, the more money you'll make. And I'm not saying that that's easy.
Right.
That's what I work on with everybody, though. Self-love is a part of it.
Hmm. Very cool. Well, Camille, where can people find out more about your services and all the programs that you offer?
Yeah, so soulprofessional.com is where our community is, and we have lots of free stuff, free masterminds, free networking, and we have a free global collaborative on Facebook where I'm a part of all the time. Next year, I will be teaching our own master classes, where this year other people taught them. I'm going to teach them all next year.
Oh,
So I get more involved in everyone and help. And CamilleLMiller.com is where you can see some of my personal work. It's not all up there because everything I do is word of mouth. But if someone wants to get to know me, they can contact me through the Soul Professional website. And I'm always happy to jump on a call or do a little business audit. And they can find out more.
awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'd love to do it again sometime if you'd be up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Loved it. Thanks, Bev.
Awesome. Thank you, Camille.